Hello, everybody. I know if you're probably watching this, you're probably thinking, "Oh, everybody else who did this assignment, they didn't have their face in it. It's quite boring, quite typical, and it had no spunk to it." So you know what? I've come to change all of that up, and I'm finna show you my teaching values that I've learned from the class that I took called Curriculum in Middle Education. All right, let's get right into it. So, the first thing I am going to talk about is relatability. Now, why is that important? I mean, especially growing up, there really was no relatability. I mean, if you were like anything else or like anybody else, when you were in the classroom, you saw a bunch of old teachers, their 70s, with their old mantras and all the ways that a classroom should be run from the 1600s. So boring, all the kids so uninterested. So basically, I'm going to tell you why relatability is important in the classroom. Well, one, if you can't relate to your students, how are they going to be interested? These kids, especially with technology and their phones, they want to see something that they can relate to, something that they can put their heart into. If they don't see themselves in your assignments, in your videos that you're showing them while they're trying to learn, they're not going to care to learn. So get to know your students. Get to understand them. Make yourself a little bit younger. Thank God we're young teachers so we can understand it a little bit, but this should be something that never goes away. I've had teachers before that were older that could relate to their students because they never let themselves get old mentally. Same eyes throughout your whole lives. You keep the same eyes. It never changes. You are an old person with those same young eyes. So keep that mentality, and your middle schoolers will be interested in what they're learning. Incorporate that into their learning. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about cultural inclusivity, cultural awareness in the classroom. Now, as a Black male, I think this is very important, especially working in Akron schools, which is like the most diverse schooling in Ohio, and seeing various methods that do work and don't work that can lead to success or failure. I feel like this is one of the key components of middle school teaching. You have to know your students. Like on the last thing I talked about, relatability. And to relate to your students, you must know their culture. You must know who they are. So when they say certain things, when they act a certain way, you have to throw that bias out. You have to know that this is who they are and they're not trying to be ignorant. This is just who they are. They might talk a different way. They might act a different way. And it's just them being them. So I feel like you should, take it upon yourself to try to gain this sort of knowledge before becoming a teacher, or else you can be put through experiences, for example, like I went through in middle school, with teachers thinking I was being ignorant, but I was just being myself. And, I was at the top of my class. So obviously I knew a little bit of something. So yeah, just figuring like even a cultural day. Try to have a cultural day in your classroom. You don't even have to be history. It doesn't have to be about history. You could do this in any subject. Just make sure the students feel loved and appreciated for who they are. And that will lead to a successful classroom environment. Now, I'm going to lead to the next one. Let's go. It's the last one. All right, now, this is my last and to me personally most important, and outside of the things that that usually commonly come along with the classroom environment, things like respect, order, the things that usually get stressed about, I think diverse teaching topics is something that is so important in the middle school classroom. This is what made education unbearable for me, in middle school especially. Who wants to go into their history classroom, their science classroom, and do a packet every single day? Who? I can tell you, nobody wants to do that. Sometimes you might want to watch videos. Sometimes you might want to engage your students by going on a field trip. You might want to do different types of experiences, experiments, a whole lot of different things. Switch it up. Nobody wants to do the same thing every single day in the classroom, and it's so normal to do that. Now, I know it's a hot topic, but we have AI. They can literally help you with your class plans, telling you, structuring it, everything. Make your learning diverse. We're not robots. We like to see new things every single day. We're humans. We got short attention spans. Switch it up. Change the topic. Change the way you go about your topics. And now, you're probably like, is he done talking? I'm done talking now, but I hope that these values are something that you'll use in your classroom, and I'm sure I'll use in mine. So I just wanted to tell you guys to have a great